a compliment. I mean, I definitely can see, like I said, the light in you guys, and you guys are gonna disrupt the industry as far as how people think and approach. Because if you just do a straight Google search, you're just gonna see a bunch of crap. And that's one reason why we're gonna transcribe this conversation, so we'll have it in writing, and I'll send it to you guys, and it can be pasted on your video or whatever, and that will allow people to find you. So that leads into my next question: where can people find you at? Because we know YouTube, but what other are there any other platforms that you guys are on?
With Instagram.
Instagram.
The easiest way, Instagram, we get those messages right away, and it's only because YouTube, she gets hundreds and thousands of messages, and it's hard. Like, she's editing and trying to do videos, and then by the time it gets to it's so overwhelming. And her Instagram is kind of lower. She has like 3,000 followers, and it boom, like their platform as far as messages is easier for us. It pops up, and we can get it right away. So most people that send us a message on Instagram, we'll get back to, right away.
Quickly.
She has Facebook. Her Pinay Trucker Girl USA. .com or Pinay Trucker Girl USA at yahoo.com. That's the email she checks the most. All her stuff, that's on her phone. It pops up all the time. Pinay Trucker Girl USA.com at yahoo.com. That's the one that she gets the most of. And Instagram. She has Facebook too, but again, it's like so overwhelming. Like,
it's just coming in
because people ask for them and you do them, but it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard to keep up with that stuff, and it's hard to keep up with the messages. And sometimes she has some really heartfelt messages, man. She has different people that follow her. We have families of guys that have Asian wives. They have a big following, truck driver following. She has a big following of single fathers with daughters. She gets pictures of guys sending her their daughters, watching her on their iPad, saying that you give a lot of inspiration to my daughters, and I thank you. And a lot of men with younger daughters, and they just thank her for giving them hope that they can do a job. They can do anything they want to do. And they thank her.
And that's another thing, that your channel, like, you would think that if somebody's watching a truck driver, that they are a truck driver.
Right.
But that's not, that's why I said that your channel is humanizing truck driving, because you have kids and people not in the industry that are watching your channel. Like, they're faithfully watching it.
Right.
And to me, one thing I can say about YouTube is people love humans, we love a great story.
Right.
And you guys are telling a great story, and that's the reason why people, I believe, are following your channel, and they probably don't plan on driving a truck, no aspiration to drive the truck, but they recognize two human beings being positive and saying, hey, I just want to be around it because it is infectious, and positivity is infectious. Negativity is too, unfortunately,
Right.
I think that's the reason why, but that's very inspiring to know. It's very. All right. So, the last question, what is the essential item or items that you guys need on the road? And I know I had talked to you a little bit about it on the phone, and you was a little confused. Like, what? Well, there has to be something that you guys need on the road. Like, you're saying, man, listen, if I don't have this on the road, it's just not going to be, it's just not going to be that day. It's not going to be an it day. It'll be a good day, but it won't be an it day.
I'm going to say something real quick, and then I'm going to be out of this. The only thing she needs that's essential is 9 suitcases.
Nice.
because I'm the one that loads them every week and unloads them.
Oh,
So
okay.
what's important to her in those 9 suitcases, she can tell you.
She can tell me what's in the 9 suitcases. Okay.
The really one thing that I don't think I can drive without it is my wireless headset. I gotta have that headset because if I don't have that, I feel like, oh my gosh, what I'm gonna do? I need to stop, pull over this side and get that because if I didn't have that, I can't communicate with my parents or
Yeah,
you
'cause
know.
when we start, like we don't stop, you know.
Yeah,
So it's like if
yeah.
you stop, then you lose time to eat. If you
Right.
stop, like for last week, she stopped 2 times, once to go to the restroom, once to get a coffee, and we got called both times. You know, what are you doing? What are you doing? How long are you gonna be? You know, where you? That load's hot. We need it. You know, so
I know I have also USB with loads of music on it. I
Okay.
gotta have that thing of music because if I don't have music, then I feel like it's getting boring. I feel like the road is getting longer and longer. You know what I'm
she has.
saying?
I'd say your music. I
Yeah,
would
your
say the thing
music.
is your music.
Your music.
She listens to songs
Oh,
over and over and over again. This
Yeah.
is one
same
a
song.
funny story. She listens to stuff so long. Now I'm sleeping. She was listening to some Eminem song, and it
Okay.
was the one where he talks real fast.
That's
Trailer park girl, Ronnie outside.
I forgot the
okay. Yeah. I know it's what you're talking about.
It's a fast Eminem.
Right.
She went over and over and over that again. And even though I'm sleeping, I hear it in my head. I
Yeah.
heard this shit so long. She played it so long that I thought by the time I woke up, I thought me and Eminem were friends. We were hanging out. I actually woke up and thought Eminem was coming to my birthday party. I'm like, I was talking to him and we're coming, but I started having dreams about these people that she listens to him so long because she's trying to memorize the song.
My headset and then my music. I love listening to music. If there's a song that I'm crazy about, I can listen to one song for one whole day. At the end of the day, I memorize the lyrics. Yeah, that's one thing I like that I can. Other than my water, because I gotta have some nice water. I roll my water and then
She'll drink. You think she was a camel if you've seen some of her videos. She has like, she'll drink 10 or 12 waters a day.
and I need my navigation also. Even though I have a set route, I need my navigation because that one tells everything. There's a traffic, there's an object ahead of you, there's a speed trap ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? I love that. Even though I know my route by heart, I know each rest area, I still have that
We
navigation
still use
turned on.
navigation. We have it on all the time. We can drive blindfold to our
Route.
place because that's all we've been doing it for 5 years. And our sons laugh at us that we have navigation on every time, but it gives us a point of reference.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we can always look at it. We have this much time, and you can
Right.
lose time. You can lose time in a truck if it's windy out. You can get into traffic, it slows you down, and you don't really pay attention, and you don't realize, hey, I'm getting behind. You know, I need to speed it up a little bit and catch up. So we always have. That's something she learned from me too. And we always have a point of reference. We know
Right.
exactly where we're at.
So tell me this, is there a specific navigation system that you guys bought that's aftermarket that you would say, hey, this is the navigation one that I would use because it's giving you special benefits?
We only use our cell phone.
Okay.
And that is not recommended for truck drivers.
Right.
The only reason we use our cell phone is because, like I said, we know the route we're going. We know if we go on that route, we don't have any dangers. I would never tell anybody to use their cell phone as navigation.
Right.
And when I trained 10 years and I never had a navigation in my truck.
I see.
I always trained, and I always taught them to use the map and know your exits. And the old-fashioned way. And I can't believe I still last as long as I did training like that, because this younger generation, they don't do crap without their phone, you know.
Right. Very
But
true.
all of those, I couldn't recommend a GPS because I don't recommend GPS.
You don't.
You know what I mean?
Right.
All of them could get you in trouble, and you get in seconds. In seconds, you can get into trouble with a GPS. And I'll give you a story
Okay.
of what just happened, like what can happen. We're riding along. We're in New York. We're in upstate New York. I'm going the same route. I know exactly what I'm doing, and boom, I come up. There's trucks. There's flashers. Road closed. Get off the road. All the trucks had to get off the road. Well, it's kind of like being in Montana or Pennsylvania or Utah. Like, you don't want to get off on those side roads in a semi.
No.
You can run into problems real fast.
Right.
And a lot of those navigations don't tell you. So I got off. I followed all the trucks went one way, and there was a detour sign. Well, we get down the road a little bit, and all the trucks, it said 90. There was a sign that said 90, make a right here. All the trucks followed. All the trucks turned. 20, 30 trucks turned and followed. And then all the traffic came to a stop. Well, I noticed when I turned and I followed, I call that like the ants in the line. The ants follow each other in a straight line. I followed, but I noticed when I turned, I'm like, there wasn't a detour sign there. You know, there wasn't a detour telling us to turn there.
Right.
It said 90, so everyone thought, oh, I can get back on the highway here. But the traffic stopped. The guy walked up with a flashlight. He came up and said, there's a 12-foot bridge up here. Just before the exit for the turnpike,
Right.
there was a 12-foot bridge, so none of us could get through there.
No.
Well, most of those, now all of those were truck drivers, including me. I didn't have my GPS on, but out of 30 of them, I'm sure 20 of them had GPS, and that tells me that it didn't tell anybody that there was a 12-foot bridge, and they all turned that way. And most of them were UPS, FedEx. They were double trailers. Double trailers can't back up. We were on a thin road with ditches on each side. Luckily, we had a van, so I was able to back out and back off the road and go back the other way. But I'm sure there were trucks there for hours, all day, probably all day the next day, trying to get those trucks out of there because they had to back up, and you can't back up with doubles. What do you want?
Okay. I know he was asking that thing that I don't know if I would say recommend that Blue Tiger Elite headset. I really love it because I don't have to charge it for a week, and that thing lasts.
You said
forever.
it's Blue Tiger?
Yeah,
Blue Tiger Elite. That thing, you
I
can
love
use it for
that.
like 3 days. The battery, no.
No, a week. I can
A
use that a
week.
week.
She uses it a whole week, and it
We
doesn't.
share it. Like
On one charge.
he use it
One
and I
charge.
And when we get back at the end, she'll use it on her shift. I'll use it on mine. And when we get back home on Saturday, it's still working.
yeah, it's
And then we'll
nice.
plug it back in. It's unbelievable the charge
really nice.
that's on it.
So I
So
love
she
that.
likes it a lot.
that. Unless I'm playing my whole speaker.
But if people are going to use a GPS, there are ones that are, you just want to make sure you keep it updated all the time. They do software and keep it updated. And you want to use judgment. I mean, it might tell you to turn left. If it's a dirt road or a gravel road, or you got to use your common sense too. If it's not a state route, you probably don't want to turn down it. You know, if you get off the beaten path like we did, and you're coming, it's going to tell you the first road to turn down to cut through. I tell drivers, if it's not a U.S. state route, I wouldn't turn down it. You know, if you're not sure. But we might get if we end up running a different route, we might get a GPS. But if I got a GPS, it would be the most expensive one you could get out there. I would definitely get the best, and I would keep it updated if we used it. But you can get in trouble with those things.
Right. Well, that concludes our interview. And the biggest takeaway that I got from this